Welcome to the Hour of Truth. Minister D. Robinson will be bringing you a message today. Today's message is titled America's New Image. The text today will be coming from life lessons and looking through the lens of others. Proverbs 9, verse 9 through 11, and 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 15 through 22. While living in a mirage, because if this is the land of opportunity, the free and the home of the milk and the honey, where one can achieve the American dream, then why do we have more people homeless on the streets of America? Why are there more people living on the streets of Los Angeles than any other major city in America? Why are we passing laws to remove them from public places? How many of these people are Christians or believers of God? Are we only Christians before or after work? What part of government is separated from religion? When voters are more concerned with religious faith, the political leaders or candidates are following. This is hypocrisy. When does it become necessary to let the left hand know what the right hand is doing at all times? Wake up, America. You have been blindsided. Our government is dropping dummy bombs on you. Every morning you and I awaken to a new birthday. We're awakening to uncertainty of our fate. In the workplace, executive, judicial, legislative branches of our government and religious institutions. When the chips are down, we call on Jesus to fight our battles. When things are impossible with the man, then they are possible with God, as our Bible teaches us. America currently is consuming 75% of all world resources, leaving only 25% to be distributed among the other countries. But what price do you and I must pay in return to inherit the American dream? Yes, sacrifice and struggles are part of trials and tribulations. That God promised punishment for sins of our forefathers and mothers, but when do we break the cycle? America, you are currently consuming 40% of all raw goods. Could this be why we are so selfish towards one another? Could this be why half of the population is obese? Many of us do not know our neighbors next door, nor understand what it means to be neighbors, because we are so bent on putting up walls between us for privacy and selfish motives. Could this be why we are careless about the rising prices that we can't afford? Could this be why it takes a community to raise a family? Is this the dummy bomb that I spoke about earlier, that our leaders dropped to confuse us? Do we believe that individuality is an answer to all our prayers? What good can one do compared to a family who works to preserve and sustain social, economic, political, and religious power through sacrifice? Individuality lends to becoming consumed by selfishness and corruption and power and greed, just to name a few, to obtain world dominance of others. Is this God's way or man's way? Are we living to promote healthy lives of others or our selfish ambitions? Do we care more about color or what it means to be neighbors? Why everything in America is being exported comes back looking different? How much money does it take to create equality instead of inequality? Does God distribute gifts and talents impartially? What are we truly trying to build as a country? Where has the democracy gone? Maybe we should ask our elected officials to explain it according to the Constitution. Hold on 1 minute. Does that only apply to them that interpret or exercise power? How much opiate do we need to have enough control over the lives of what constitutes legal and illegal use? How much control are we willing to surrender over to corporations, manufacturers, private utilities, and private sector to determine upward mobility? Using mobilization. What is the real role of government? What role does America's citizens have left under the present Constitution to govern and to decide their own fate through community collaboration? Without government infringements, how much of our civil liberties did Congress take under the Patriot Act? Let's see. In my opinion, about 3/4 of our consent. Can we honestly govern ourselves with surveillances? Has immoral defect, defiance impaired our judgments? Why is there currently 60% of drug users behind bars, locked up in prison? Is this what the war on drugs was intended to do, or bring drug lords to justice? Does change being with individuals or the oppressors? American, wake up before it's too late to demand your rights. An American will always be an American. When are you going to collect your heritage? How long do we remain at home? Do we fear living or dying? How long will we keep separatism and resources, class and wealth, just to name a few? What is more important than freedom? Drugs? You have to answer that one. Drop the dope and take your country back. Can we continue wanting both and waiting on the winner to claim the throne? How much suffering is enough to claim the prize? When the evil kills good, who will be next? Who will be the next victim? Does it reincarnate itself back into good or evil? Human life is priceless. What can be more self-fulfilling when it is priceless? Jesus willingly gave his life for the world so that you and I can inherit the promise made at the cross. For those who believe that he is the Son of God shall inherit the earth and eternal life. If you're reading and listening to my words, or part of it, that means you have taken on a role of preservation of history and will be held accountable for your actions. When the time comes for you, for your vote, with such to be free of influence and based on knowledge of the assurance and issues for your votes. But keep in mind not to put your hands in the cookie jar. I have some questions to ask you today. If you had all the money in the world and no family to inherit your wealth, would you be happy or would you be sad? When I was young, I remember turning on a television set and noticing the political changes in America. From war, violence in America, revolting against the governments for their rights to the Constitution. I remember crying during the 1968 riot in America, which it even happened in my own backyard. I had to distinguished conversation with my higher power to stop the wars and the violence to make this world a better place. I was fed up with the death and did not want to die or anyone else to die anymore. I think the problem was that I forgot to request the same for my brothers and sisters. I know my life today has crossed many paths of the past in this world to help me understand my shortcomings. America, will you keep allowing your oppressors to afflict you and deject others at the cost of their own self-ambitions? I know my life today, America, is based on free speech that allows you and I to be heard and to speak without holding our tongues. I was taught that a closed mouth will not get fed. So does opening one mouth represent hatred? Has America placed more inference on a person's nationality or religious beliefs or gender, color, or discrimination to promote a new society that resembles the old, just to name a few? Has America hardened its heart towards immigration and no longer wants them to reap economic freedom from overcoming adversity and obstacles in order to promote growth and vision within America? Have the foreign powers influenced our ways or our philosophical ways of life? America is dying from the silence of voices, which are the core and the lifeline of the fabric of the melting pot. Your voices are being stripped away right in front of your very eyes. The First Amendment has been amended from its original state to put down any future resistance for self-government, democracy. The 14th and the 15th Amendment are on the auctioning block for transgression or regression. Everyone that will be involved with this legislation that's coming up, healthcare, should be free of influence based on their personal recognition or cognitive level. Have we lost the respect of the founding fathers of America? Is this country in the hands of the people or in the hands of the people we fought against to remain sovereign? Who is really running the government? Let me ask you, a fundamental question. How will America face the real life issues without documentation of history, which is pure science? These are ways that help us to overcome transgression into regression. The pioneers before me are growing older and wiser, and lay wounded in the pursuit for justice as they battle forces to cling on to the dignity of life while they still breathe. Who will be the next new leader to inherit the torch when they fade away into history? Must I speak for one or all, or maybe wait on someone to silence my voice? A rational mind versus a non-rational mind is good, but decision making can only be handed down to such as the recent appointment of Chief Justice John Roberts, based on irrational thinking, thanks in part to the person who wrote the 14th Amendment and purposely left notable holes in the legislation, in which they knew would lead to possible challenges or preservation. I guess we call it checks and balances of the minority, a temporary measure to diffuse the problem. I call it checks and balances of minority people. In my opinion, the federal and Supreme Courts of America is one of the main ingredients that help to shape and change the direction of the country. The branches of the government have too much power and influence to change a society way of thinking, even if it goes against the protest. They can envision a new society based on their beliefs and values as good or bad. The act forbids legal Americans from assessing their constitutional rights at home and abroad. Where are the real terrorists? I'm just puzzled to know, is it the gangs, the immigration, the immigrants, the political organizations, the drug users, the drug lords, just to name a few? What this means is that the people will be fairly served without party affiliation or outside influence. America needs term limits. We always had them in the beginning, since the colony era, because the system works and most can respect it. Can money truly buy you love and happiness? And if yes is your answer, for how long? When you close your eyes, do you know who you are or your neighbor next door is? Without these distinguishing features, could you tell the color of my skin, or would you care? Was there racism at the cross? Was there a vote taken in the waking hour of salvation at the cross? Will my vote count when it's all over? Would that same vote be asked when Jesus returned? Did you notice that legislation is being passed to resembling the past oppressive laws of the Jim Crow and slavery era? Did you notice that legislation is being slam dunked in your face? What are your fears? Can you face them without remorse? Can you say honestly that you made a difference in your children's lives or the lives of others, or maybe even your own life? Do you know who you are as a person? Or are you living someone else's vision? The worst thing that can happen being in a conscious state is not knowing who you are. How many things have you borrowed or created by someone else as you prepared yourself for the next day? Can you say thank you for the contributions if they were not of your own making? What would your world be like without people? Has government hardened your heart against the very people that help them to gain the power? What is your purpose in life for the people you represent? History has been altered from its original course. Time just went by to daylight savings. Did you notice that we lost 1 hour and 30 minutes of our future? Is the earth spinning slower or faster on its axis? What does this mean for our civilizations as we know it? Do you know your own history? I know that transgression and regression only works when people learn from their history and apply it righteously. Do you feel like you owe someone for making your life comfortable? What would the world be like without racism? Where does it all end? Is a world a revolving door? What is my fate in the end? Can I justify my actions by being rational or irrational? What kinds of examples do I set for others to follow? Or do I close the door behind me and lock it with a key? Do my children really know who I am as a parent or a friend? Will I be remembered as a hero or a zero? Do you truly respect the Constitution of America and cherish it? Were some of the noticeable leaders in American history former criminals with far more intellectual ability? Why the need to promote discrimination based on a right to vote by felons? Dead people can vote, why not them? We all have a history of something. Everyone's family is dysfunction in some type of way. The truth is, can you keep it real? Can you come real? Can you come correct? whether it is on the record or off the record. America and foreigners learn our history, and do not let people strip you of your history. It is what distinguishes us from every other country in the world. Move forward with progress, not regret. Start the healing process just because wisdom is fading does not mean that it has been forgotten. The 50 stars and stripes symbolizes democracy of a unified nation. America cannot survive without the melting pot of diversity. Do not divide, but add and multiply equally. America is not about oppressing other people of color, but about diversity. And diversity. Nothing in the world will remain constant except the words of God that has sustained you and I, even in denial. He wins the souls back from the devil. The gays and the lesbian movement is growing stronger than ever. But I think they are embarking on unfamiliar territory of civil rights. The civil rights pioneers have opened up doors of America and America's eyes to unfair discrimination practices, to provide a different approach to involve nationality and subcultures. The gays and the lesbian movement need to focus more attention to their own personal space in America. Jesus conquered death for the believers and the non-believers to unify heaven and earth. To be called honorable means that you have taken an oath and pledged to promote justice over injustice with integrity, free of irrational thinking. I'd like to read a word or two today from Proverbs chapter 17, verses 1, 11, 14, 16, and 18. Beginning at verse 1, a soft answer turns away wrath, but a grievous word stirs up anger. The tongue of the wise use knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools pours out foolishness. Hell and destruction are before the Lord. How much more then the hearts of the children of men? The heart of him that has understanding seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feedeth on foolishness. The heart of him that has understanding seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feeds on foolishness. Once again, better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasures and troubles therewith. A wrathful man stirs up strife, but he that is slow to anger appeases strife. I hope you enjoyed this message tonight. And I want to send a special thanks out to all my sponsors, all my family and my friends, and those that are responsible for my nurturement within the ministry. Pastor Ruben Scott, Pastor Angelus, Pastor Greg Bryan. And I want to send a special thanks out to them, because if it hadn't been for them, I don't know truly where I really would have been. But I want to thank you from my heart, from the bottom of my heart, for all you have done for me and this ministry. And may God thank you, and may He keep you, and may He bless you. And may God forever guide you in your hands in righteousness. This message has been brought to you once again by Minister D. Robinson, Sr. from the Hour of Truth Ministry. Please join us at www.thehourtruth.ws, or you can find me on MySpace under Minister D. Robinson at myspace.com, or you can find me on Tag. It's tagged.com under Minister D. Robinson Sr. So I hope you have a pleasant day, and I hope you enjoyed this message. If you have any comments or concerns, please email me at info@thehourtruth.ws, and I welcome any comments and any feedback, and may God bless and keep you this day forward.